A bit of a history lesson now of sorts. Broadcaster and author Giles Brandriff is back with a brand new book, A History of Britain in Just a Minute. It's inspired by the hugely popular radio show of the same name, of course. Joins me now. This is a great idea.
Well,
Isn't
when
it?
I was a little boy, I
Yes.
loved a book called 1066 and all that.
I remember.
Which was a
Yes.
humorous history of Britain. And I thought, oh, I'd like to do that. And the publisher said, well, you're best known for doing this radio show, Just a Minute.
Yes.
Which I've been doing since the 1980s. And it's a radio show where you have to speak without hesitation, repetition or deviation for 60 seconds to win.
Which sounds easy until
my
you
gosh.
try it.
So my idea was to take the history of Britain, this extraordinary place where we live, from, in fact, before 1066, from the reign of, well, in fact, going back to the Stone Age, coming right up to the Queen and Paddington Bear, and tell it in 60-second bites.
Yes.
Everything from, you know, Lady Godiva to Lady Gaga. It's all in there. And I've had fun doing it, but it was quite a challenge, I have to tell you.
Yeah, because you have to do it, you know, as if you were on the show. And
Yes.
we've got, like, as you said, from Robert the Bruce to Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
I mean, it's random in that
It is a bit
sense,
random,
but it's
and the history is not totally reliable. I had to wait. I did read history at university, but I had to wait for my tutor to die before I could publish the book, because if he'd been alive, he would have killed him. And now he's turning in his grave. It's not... I mean, if you've got kids taking GCSE, it'll make them smile during revision, but it won't be... It's not totally reliable.
Now, I mean this in the loveliest possible way. Great book to have in the toilet.
Yes.
Yes.
It's also a great book to give people you don't really like or don't really understand or know. You know, what the brother-in-law that for 30 years you've thought what am I going to give him this year?
Yeah.
You never know quite why she married him. Well, this is the present for that sort of person, because it genuinely is the history of our country told in little one-minute chunks, perfect for the loo and perfect for the friend you can't work out what to give them.
That is genius,
Yeah.
I have to say. That is absolute genius. Now, have you got used yet to saying King Charles? Because King Charles loves Just a Minute.
Well,
He's a big fan, isn't he?
I discovered this by chance, because on the programme, it's spontaneous. They give you a subject, you don't know what they're going to give you. And about 10 years ago, the subject came up, my secret crush. And I suddenly found myself going back to my teenage years and talking about... I went to a boarding school, and near the boarding school was this big house, and I went to this big house, was having tea there, and then in the garden I found this rather attractive girl. I was 16, she was 17, she was wearing jodhpurs. I was conjuring all this up in just a minute, smoking her woodbines in the shrubbery. Little did I think, this actually was a girl called Camilla Shand. Now, little did I think that she might be listening to the programme. It never occurred to me that then Duchess of Cornwall, now Her Majesty, the Queen Consort, would be listening to Just a Minute. But about a week after this broadcast went out, she, the Duchess of Cornwall, was visiting our local church because it was part of the Queen's Jubilee that year, and she saw my wife. And she said, "Tell Giles, I don't deny that I was smoking, but they were not woodbines." So I felt a little bit awkward. Yes, she listens to Just a Minute. And then I discovered that the King, it's a funny thing to say, isn't it?
I know, I'm still getting used to that.
Listens to Just a Minute, or certainly used to. He may not have time now, because he told me that in the old days he used to leave telephone answering messages on his son's phones using Just a Minute as his style. So he'd phone up and say, oh. I don't know if he says this is the King here, but anyway, this is Daddy or Papa, he probably says. And then he left the message in 60 seconds without hesitation, deviation or repetition.
You've got to get him on the show. But as you say, he is a little bit busy now.
I think he's going to be a little bit busy.
I think he
and he might
is.
know the history a bit better than me, and he may not like some of it, because, you know, Henry VIII... No, that's Richard III, isn't it?
Yes.
Henry VIII is there, Queen Elizabeth I is there. They're all there.
They're all there.
And I tell you what's fascinating about this country. It is extraordinary. I love it anyway. I've loved it more doing this book. The eccentricity of this country. I was thinking of it recently. You remember the Queen's funeral, which was so moving, but there was part of it, there was the pageantry, there were those wonderful boys carrying the coffin.
Amazing.
And then there was Emma, the pony, on the... and the corgis.
I think that's when everyone's had a
But
bubble.
I thought, what an extraordinary country there is, where ponies and corgis are as much part of the pageantry as the Grenadier Guardsmen. I mean, just amazing. And the history of this country, you know, from King Alfred and the cakes, remember, that's still remembered. It's 1,000 years ago.
I know.
We all know about King Alfred and the cakes.
As soon as you say Alfred, you say, oh, yeah, he burnt the cakes,
and
didn't
I
he?
think
Poor
in
guy.
1,000 years' time, people will be talking about the Queen and Paddington Bear.
I think they will, you know.
Yeah.
Because that was a moment, wasn't it? That was an extraordinary moment.
Well, we saw the Queen being funny and having fun.
Yes.
And she was up to... Oh, I mean, just look at her. It's only a few months ago that was made.
I know, it's amazing.
Just
isn't it?
amazing.
Extraordinary. But
What a double act. I was working at the time, for another name drop, with Dame Judi Dench.
Oh,
And
yes.
she phoned me the next day and she said, "Did you see the Queen?" I said, "Wasn't she wonderful?" She said, "She was too good. I have to tell you, she was superb, faultless." She said, "She's going to be getting all my work now."
Because you're working with Dame Judy, aren't you?
I'm doing a Christmas show.
You are?
In the West End. Can you imagine?
You two
Do
become something of a double act, you
all
two.
my dreams come true. Here I am with you, and then in November and December, I'm on a West End stage with Dame Judi Dench. Who could ask for anything more?
Who could ask for
And then I'm
anything more?
invited to tell the story of my country, our country, in the manner of just a minute.
It's wonderful.
I'm touching wood. And I'm not, I'm touching glass.
Yes,
I'm touching wood.
I think that might be not wood. I think that might be just cheap plastic things. But it's
For
all
me,
right.
if you believe in something, you believe in it. It's wood.
It's wood.
Yeah.
It's wood. Well, Giles's book, A History of Britain, in just a minute, is out now. And if you think that's easy, try and speak without, what is it, deviation, repetition,
Hesitation. The
Try
hesitation
it.
I'm quite good at.
Right.
The deviation is my real problem.
Yeah, if you go off.
I do. I go off at a tangent.
Yes. Keep doing it. And thank you, Giles. It's always a joy. Thank you
do
so,
you.
so much.